Alrighty, welcome everybody. It's Tuesday night and I'm back. I kind of took December off a little bit to spend some time with family, and I just needed some time to just gel and not do much. So anyway, I'm glad I'm back. Hopefully we'll have some of you on with me. If this is your first time, my name is Julie Brown. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Farmington, New Mexico, and welcome. Please make sure if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook that you follow, like, share, all of that good stuff, because that helps me reach more people and get out there. So again, welcome. If this is your first time ever being on a Facebook Live or a YouTube, just so you know, you can type in the comments. You can let me know you're here. You can say your name. You can ask questions, all of that good stuff. I do look down when I'm making the cards, but I do try to look up once in a while to see any questions or any comments that are coming across the screen. So I am glad to be back. And what a good time to be back, because we have a brand new mini catalog that launched this month, January. So I'm going to be going over one of the new bundles in that. But before I do that, I'm going to take care of some housekeeping really quick. So if you don't have a demonstrator and you see something you like and you want to place an order, you can do that through juliebrown.stampinup.net. Please use the hostess code listed there, unless you're placing an order that is over $150, because then you get rewards yourself. Hey, Janet, so glad to see you here. I also have Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram at Julie's Creative Stamping. Now, my YouTube channel is a little bit different. You have to type in Julie's Creative Stamping to get to that. I am in the process, and I've been in the process for several months, as most of you know, of building a website, but the blog portion of my website does work. So you can go to my blog portion at juliescreativestamping.com and find a lot of other cards that I've done and instructions for those cards. Eventually, I'll have my whole website up and running, but the blog portion is working. Anyway, so let's talk about what we're going to be looking at tonight. So tonight, we are going to be working with the Love For You bundle, and it has this really cool stamp set. Sorry, let me move that. And it has these really cool dies. Now, I am a sucker. Hey, Shanine. I am a sucker for dies that have words in them. I absolutely love them. And this one is kind of a really unique set, so I can't wait to show you this one. But I do want to show you the new catalog, because this is one of the bundles in the new catalog. And I'm going to show you, again, the number for the bundle. The bundle includes the stamp set and the dies, but it is on page 11. And I'm going to turn to that page for you here and just show you that you can buy it separately. So right here, usually you'll see this big 10%, and that means it's the bundle. Or you can buy just the stamp set, and then they have the dies kind of stuck down over here. So both of those things are in place. So you can either buy it as a bundle and save 10%, or you can buy them, do them each separately. So let's take a look at this really fun set. So again, it has these really fun, it's got quite a few different sentiments on here. It has so much love, and then for you, and it's got some flowers, some leaves, and then a bunch of other sentiments. So really cool set. But I kind of wanted to start with this one for the new year, because I feel like some of these stamp sets get overlooked. Because when you look at this, you don't see anything that automatically jumps out to you. So hopefully I'm going to show you some cards tonight that'll, even if you guys don't like this particular bundle, it'll make you look at that catalog a little bit closer. Also, let me just say really quick that if you do not have a demonstrator and you would like to get one of these mini catalogs or one of our annual catalogs, just go ahead and reach out to me. You can either comment on here, or probably better yet, if you would just email me at juliescreativestampin, without the G, at gmail.com, then I can get that in the mail and out to you. Alrighty. Okay, so let's look at this. So the first card, so what I wanted to do with this first card and the second card is I'm going to do some simple stamping on the first card, and then I'm going to show you how to use the dies to step it up a little bit. So let's get started. So for this first card, you basically just need a black, basic black card base and 2 of our basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to be using Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather and Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, because these stamps are what we call two-step stamping. What that means is it has a solid image, and then it has a more detailed image that you actually stamp right over the top. And you'll see that both in the flowers, and then you'll also see that in the leaves. So here's the solid image, and then there's a detailed image. And so two-step stamping, they're photopolymer so that you can see through them. So I'm just going to kind of do this first card, and we're going to walk through that. So I'm going to use this big sentiment stamp, which is the So Much Love, and I am going to bring in some black memento ink for that. And I think my ink pad is like on its, you know what, I need to grab a different one. I just made like 50 cards for my church group, and so I was using that black memento ink. See the difference in in how it covers? Okay. Oh, and let me bring this in. These are our silicone mats, and they work really good with our photopolymer stamps because it helps to get a clearer image. So I'm just going to take this and try to get that centered and somewhat straight. And we're just going to put that on there, and voila, we've got that. I'm going to bring in our simple chamois, which starts out a really pretty purple and ends up pretty much looking like this. You just add water to this, and you can clean your stamps really easily with that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in that solid image first. And the way I do it, and you can do this however you want, I use my lighter color for the solid images and then the darker for the detailed image. Now, if you don't have both stamp sets, because this is Highland Heather is part of our Subtles group, Gorgeous Grape is part of our Brights group, and so let's say you just have the Subtles or you just have the Brights. One thing you can do is you can ink it up with the Gorgeous Grape, stamp it off on a piece of paper, and then stamp it on here, and it's going to be lighter than when you bring in the detailed one, which then you would stamp the detailed one in the Gorgeous Grape and do not stamp off and stamp directly on there. So don't forget, you don't have to have all the families of ink to be able to use two-step stamping. All right, so I am just going to come in here, and I am just going to stamp this image a few times onto this card base. This isn't the card base. I lied. This is my basic white mat. All right, and then let's put one up here. And then let's put one, let's see. I think I want to turn this one around and make it kind of a different angle up here. And you'll have to excuse my long sleeves and my sweatshirt because it snowed here today, so I am a little chilly. Okay, so there's our first one. So let me clean this off, and then I'm going to come in with that detailed one, and I am going to use the Gorgeous Grape because I do have both ink pads. Now, again, even if I only had the Highland Heather, I would have inked it up, I would have stamped it off on a piece of paper, and then stamped on this. That way it gives me 2 different shades of Highland Heather. Okay, I hope that's making sense to you guys. So now I'm going to come in with the detailed one, and because I have both pads, I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. Again, if I just had Highland Heather, like I just told you, I would have stamped off and stamped on here, and then this time I would have inked it up, full ink, and stamped it on because it would be darker than these if I had stamped them off. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, but because I have both colors, I don't have to worry about that. So now I'm just going to ink this up. Now the nice thing about the photopolymer stamps is that it allows you to see through the stamp so that you can get it on there. Now, I'm going to bring this closer because as this dries, it gets darker. But can you see how it put that detailed image on there? Isn't that cool? And you can see that these two colors are actually pretty close. But like I said, as this dries and that you'll be able to see this top one that I'm stamping, it's really gonna like pop and come out. And so all I'm doing is just going around and stamping over the image that I put the first time. And like I said, you're going to be able to see it show up. That detailed image is going to show up as this all dries. And you might be able to kind of see it now. I'll bring it closer again in just a second. I got to turn this around because it's easier for me to line this up with the little things on the top. So that's why most of your two-step stamps are going to be photopolymer, so that you can actually see where you're stamping. So see what that does? Isn't that cool once you add that detailed image? It looks really cool. And of course, right? So when you're looking at this, you don't see that, right? You don't understand how these two-step stamps can look so cool when they're done. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves, but I'm going to be using Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen. Now, the other cool thing about this particular bundle is there's a suite in this new catalog that is called, I believe, Country Lane. Let me look at it. I always forget the names. Country Floral Lane. And this actually goes with it really well. The last card I do tonight is going to be using some of the Designer Series paper from that suite. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my solid image of the leaves and my Soft Succulent. Now, I kind of wanted to do these leaves. I just kind of felt like these leaves, it wasn't so much about like trying to get it underneath the flower, but just kind of sticking out from the side of the flower. So I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to come in and place these leaves where I think they should be. And again, you're just seeing the first step, right? Because these are two-step stamps. So this is kind of the first step in the two-step stamps. And then this one I want to bring out down here. And I know you guys can't see it on the screen, but as I'm laying this down, because it's a photopolymer, I can actually line this up pretty accurately to the flower, which is one of the benefits of photopolymer stamps, is being able to do that. Alrighty. So let me see if I can fit this in there without touching that other flower. Ah, got it. But I also want to bring some out, I think. Where do I want to bring these out? Maybe down here. I might bring one of the single ones out in just a second right there. Because these leaves have these double leaves like the one I'm using. And then it also had a set of, it's got a single one, and I think I might bring in a single one down there. So let me bring that in. So this is like the single leaf. And I kind of just wanted to add just a little bit more right there. Okay, so now I'm going to clean these off, and then I'm going to come in with the second part of the stamping, which is going to be the detailed leaf. So, you know, Stampin' Up! Has so many different types of stamps. We have, you know, obviously the red rubber stamps. We have these photopolymer. We have distinctive stamps. And I actually do have a write-up on that on my blog. So if you do go to my blog, and you look under, I believe it's under the Learn Card Making, you'll see an article that I put on there about all the different types of stamps that, not just that we offer, but that are out there. And I kind of explain each of the different styles of stamps. So it's kind of a good little article to go look at. That way you understand how these all work a little bit differently. Okay. And so I'm going to do the same thing over here. And this may not be as perfect as like you could get it, because again, I know I've said this a million times. It's really hard for me to get centered on things because I'm trying really hard not to stick my head down in the camera, because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. But when I'm stamping all on my own without anyone watching, I get myself completely centered over. So like my head would basically be right here looking down just so that I can get things centered better. So just to let you guys know that it is a lot easier when you're doing this at home, and where you can place this exactly where you need it, and you don't have to worry about sticking your head in a camera, right? So did everybody have a good Christmas? I hope everybody had a really nice Christmas that's on here with me tonight. And I hope that this is still running and working, since I'm not really seeing anyone make too many comments here. And if you guys are new to watching me, again, you can type in comments. Now, I do upload this to YouTube. So if you're watching at YouTube, you're probably not watching it live, but I do check my comments, so you can make a comment and I will see it, and I try really hard to get on there and answer any questions that you might have. So now let me bring this closer. Can you guys see how it did the two-step stamping on the leaves? So do you see how using the two different colors, or again, if I only had one shade of ink, and that's why I'm going to tell you guys this. That's why when I look at purchasing ink, and when I have people ask me, oh, good, Shanine, I'm glad you had a Merry Christmas. When I have people ask me, like, what colors should I start with? What families, you know, because we have color families. Our subtles are a lot lighter, and then our brights are darker. And then we also have what we call our regals, which my next card is going to be using regals. But one of the reasons that I like to start with the darker, so the brights and the regals, is because if I want to do that stamping off technique, it's a lot easier with a darker color than it is with a lighter color. So if I'm trying to get two different shades out of an ink pad, it tends to work, or you see a bigger difference in your darker colors. So if you're new to Stampin' Up and you're wondering what color should I start with, oops, I still need this. I would suggest that you start with either the regals or the brights. Oh, I'm glad you like the detailed stamping. So now this is a little itty bitty stamp, and it's for the middle of the flower. And so I'm going to ink that up in Evening Evergreen. Now, Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent are our in colors. Stampin' Up comes out with new in colors every year to just give us a difference. And they stay in production for 2 years. And I have to tell you, the Soft Succulent and the Evening Evergreen, I'm so sad that they're in colors, only because I absolutely love them, and I wish these were ones that would stay in forever, because they are my favorite, hands down my favorite greens right now. Okay, so for the inside, I'm going to go ahead and do the inside while I'm here. And so I should have done that while I had this all out. I'm basically going to do the same thing with the flowers, but I'm just going to kind of put them down here in the corner. So you guys are going to get to see that two-step stamping technique once more. Okay, so I'm going to stamp it here. And then I'm going to kind of stamp it off the page here. And then I'm going to do the same thing in this section over here. I'm going to kind of get off the page. And I'm going to set my stamps to the side that I need to clean. And I'm going to do that all at once. Oh, I'm glad you like the detailed stamping. I do too. I absolutely love it. And you know, I love the two-step stamps just because it just gives it an extra like pop. And I love that all I have to do is stamp to get this really cool look, right? It's like, that's always exciting when I don't have to do a lot of like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like coloring, I like our blends, I like all of that, but I really like these like simple cards that I can just use the stamps, use the ink, and they just come out looking so cool. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let me get that out of the way. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and do the center of the flower while I have this sitting here. And then we're going to add some leaves to this, and we're going to add a sentiment to this, and then we're going to assemble the card, and we're pretty much going to be done with this card. So again, that's why I like simple stamping, right? Hey Brenda, so glad to see you here tonight. So for those of you just joining, I am using the new Love For You bundle out of the new mini catalog. It is a two-step stamp set, and I'm showing that right now, how you like I'm stamping the leaves, and then I'm gonna come in, I'm stamping the solid leaves, and then I'm gonna come back in with some more detailed leaves. I've already done it on the flowers, and it adds this really cool dimension to your stamping, and again, not a lot of extra work because you're just using the stamp set to do this. And again, when you look at this, I'm going to keep showing you this because when you look at this, okay, again, this made this. And you can't always tell that when you're looking at it in a catalog, right? And it's one of those stamp sets that I kind of felt was going to get overlooked in the mini catalog because the mini catalog is full, absolutely full of wonderful new stamp sets. And I just kind of felt like this one was going to kind of get overshadowed because it just doesn't pop off the page at you. Let me put it that way. But it should, because it makes some really cool cards. And it has the bundle has a die set that I absolutely love. You guys, wait till you see this when I start using the die set on the next card. All right, sorry, I was getting all those cleaned off. Okay, so then for the inside, I'm just going to use the other sentiment. That's the other big sentiment because there's a ton of little ones. So I use this big one. Now I'm going to use the For You. And I'm going to bring that in, and I'm just going to ink that up with black Memento ink. And again, try to get this straight without sticking my head in the camera. All right, let's see. I hope that's straight. Pretty good. All right, let me clean that off. And then we're ready to put this card together, and we're going to be done with our first card, which was my simple stamping. I always try to do a, oh, Flora, hi. I'm glad you're loving these colors. But yeah, so I'm trying to do a simple stamping for you first, so that you can see how all you need is the stamp set, right? But of course, if you like all the toys and you like all the gadgets and you like all the easy buttons, you know, that's where the die cuts, the ribbons, the embellishments, all of that stuff comes in. But it's really important for me that you guys understand that you can make absolutely beautiful cards by stamping alone. I think sometimes, I know I get caught up in all the toys, and they are wonderful to have. But let's say you're someone who has limited space. You don't have a lot of space, but you do have space for stamp sets. I'm trying to show you how, yeah, you can use the stamp set and you can have a absolutely beautiful card with especially these two-step stamp sets. But I think the two-step stamp sets are always the ones that don't show as well in the catalog. That's why I really wanted to show this one off for you. All right, guys, look at that, all done. What do you think? So much love. And can you see all the, like how the two-step stamping added all that detail to the card? And then for you. So this could be a birthday card. This could be an anniversary card. This could be a Valentine's Day card. This could just be probably a card that I just had some grandkids that moved away. This would be a really good card to send to my grandkids. Just to let them know I love them. So there you go. Card 1. Now, also just to note, you could add embellishments. You could add little pearls in the middle of this, but I'm trying to show you how to do it with just stamping. All right. So card 2 is pretty much going to be the same layout. But what I did was I stamped on some very vanilla, and I'm just going to show this to you. So I stamped, and this time I used Rich Razzleberry and Blackberry Bliss, and I pre-stamped all of this, and you can see that because we have the dies, I'm going to show you how cool these words are that it does. But it's got all of these words, and then it has these flowers. So it does cut out the flowers. And there is a heart as well that it cuts out. But I pre-did that so you guys didn't have to watch me stamp again. And so so for the leaves, I used Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. See the difference in those? And then again, this was Rich Razzleberry and Blackberry Bliss. Okay, so I am going to do a little bit of die cutting just to kind of show you. So I kind of want to point out like these dies and what they do, because when you first look at these, you don't understand. So these dies are super cool because what they do is they have layers. So like normally when we get word ones, it cuts out the word, like here's the words. But these have layers. So what it does, so I kind of want to show you. So like I'm cutting this layer out. So this layer was like the background. Okay. And then this layer, I don't know if you can see it. It says for you. So this layer cut out the for you, but it's not real detailed. And now I'm going to cut out the for you. And I'm going to make, and it's going to be even more detailed. So it actually has 3 layers for each of the sets. And then I'm going to show you like how you can cut all these apart, because as you can see, like when I cut this layer for you, it cut it out separately, right? So I could have stamped the for you, right? Like I did here on this first card. I could stamp the for you, and then this die, I could stamp that in any color I want, and then this die is going to cut that out. So super cool. Oh, sorry, this one is not wanting to move. Okay, so let me get but I just wanted to show you. So I've already done this one, and now we're going to do these detailed ones. Now I did put an adhesive strip on the back of this because these are really thin, and I didn't want to have to try to put liquid glue on the back. Even though I have, purchased these cool little bottles, I could have done it with this. So it's not like you have to have the adhesive strips. But guys, point blank, if you've got a die cut machine and you're going to get some, wordings and lettering, you should invest in the adhesive strips, because they actually are a really good deal. They come in a packet like this, and you can see there's these strips, and you just cut them and add them to the back of your cardstock. And then when I cut these out, it's going to make them basically into stickers. So it's a really good tool to have in your arsenal. All right, so I'm going to bring in my mini die cut machine. And I'm so silly. I have a new die cut machine, a new mini die cut machine, because during celebration, I'm going to show it to you, and I actually have it here, but I haven't pulled it out of its box because of Christmas. So for those of you that are thinking of joining Stampin' Up, we have a really cool offer. Where the heck is it? Well, maybe we do. I don't know. I can't seem to find it right now. I thought I knew right where it was in here. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Shoot. I thought it was on the last page, but apparently it's not. Maybe it was. Anyway, we have a new die cut machine so that when you join the oh, I know where it is. Silly me. I forgot to tell you guys, in all my excitement over the new catalog, Celebration starts on January 5th. And what Celebration is for every $50 you spend, you get to pick something in this catalog for free. We have some free paper. We have free stamp sets. And then there is also some where you have to spend $100. But look how pretty that paper is. And that's for free. But the joining right now, if you join during Celebration, which is January and February. Wait, do you see this? Oh my gosh, can you see that? It is one of these mini the mini cut, mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it's in boho blue. How cool is that? And I do have one. So next Tuesday I will have it out and I will be using it so you guys can see it. But super cool if you decide to join my team. That's one of the things that you can get for joining my team. So how fun is that? All right, well, let's get these words cut out and let's get this card finished. So I'm just going to lay this on here. And I did put an adhesive strip for the whole thing. And so when I don't use the whole thing, I just save that back in my scrap bin for the next time that I need to cut out some words. Okay, so we're just going to make this go through. And because this is really detailed, I decided I needed to go through twice. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And if you guys have any questions, if you're watching this and you have any questions about joining my team, any questions about Celebration, just make sure you reach out to me at my email, or you can just, put a question in here and I'll get it answered for you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. Again, one of the staples that I think everyone should have is one of these Take Your Pick tools. And then I'm just going to pop out all these little bits. But do you see how thin that is? Do you see how that might be, just, we could get the glue on there, right? But why when I can have adhesive strips? I'm just going to get the adhesive strips and stick those on the back. Now, obviously, if you don't have a die cut machine, well, you're not going to have the dies, so you're not going to have to worry about it, right? All right, so here we go. Okay, so do you see how there's like 3 different levels to this wording? Which is, I love this die set, guys. I'm like really loving it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this second level here and put some liquid glue down. And I could have used adhesive strips for this, but you don't really need to when it's not real thin. And then I'm going to do my U. And I'm going to stick that in place. Okay, and then what's cool about this is I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool and I'm just going to pull that adhesive stripping. Once you get it started, it basically comes off pretty easy. And then that's going to just lay in there. So lots of color, lots of dimension. I mean, you can use any kind of cardstock and any colors. Any color combinations would just be really pretty with this. And that's what's fun when you get these die sets, is it's kind of fun to just kind of cut a bunch of different colors out and start kind of putting them, without even before you glue it all down, just kind of start putting them all together and seeing what color combinations you like. Because then that can help you decide, like on your stamping, what colors you want to stamp. So look at that. Isn't that cool? Do you like all those different dimensions? So super cool die set, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so for this one, I brought in some old olive ribbon. And I'm going to use my workspace here, or actually I'll bring in my silicone mat because I want to build on my this very vanilla piece that's going to go on the front of the card. But because I'm going to put the ribbon on, it's going to be sticky on the back. So I use this silicone mat because it's going to allow me to lay this back down, even though there's going to be adhesive on the back. And it'll make it easy for me to pull it up. So it allows me to do my design. Another really good use for the silicone mat. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Flora. I know, super cool, huh? The layers do look really classy. I know, I absolutely love them. And then don't forget, kind of even a fourth layer is being able to stamp. And I'm going to show you that on the next card. Oops, those are my adhesive. I call them my adhesive scissors because I use those most of the time when there's adhesive, because they do get a little bit sticky and gummy. Okay, so the silicone mat's going to allow me to lay that back down. It's also going to kind of hold it in place for me, which is super cool. But it allows me to get this all in place and not worry about it sticking to paper or anything. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of our mini dimensionals, and I'm going to pop this up over the ribbon. But I'm going to place these strategically so that they don't touch the ribbon. I want to make sure that, because when we have ribbon down, it kind of adds a little bit of a layer. So then when you start adding dimensionals, it adds another layer. And so I want to keep this piece all the same level. So what I'm meaning is if I put one here and then it got on top of the ribbon, it's going to make that a little bit higher than the rest of it. So I cut one of my mini dimensionals in half. I don't know if you saw me do that. And then I'm just going to put them on the edges right here. So then I'm just going to pull this off. So this is a stepped up version. It's kind of the same layout. I am using different words, but I call this a stepped up version. It might be closer to Avid than casual, just because I'm using so many pieces. But I'm not even adding, I didn't add any designer series paper. So I'm popping that up like so. So what, Pat? Oh, Shanine sent you the cutest Christmas card that she had made. Yay! I'm so happy to hear that Shanine sent a card that she made in class. Yay! That makes me so happy. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to start layering these, but I'm going to do some where I'm popping them up, some where I'm keeping them down. Because again, it's pretty much kind of the same layout as my first card, except this time instead of stamping everything, I'm using the dies. So I did stamp the flowers, but like for the wording and stuff, instead of stamping it, I used the die cuts. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to start placing, and I think I might use my thinner glue just so I don't get glue everywhere. And I'm going to bring in this other silicone mat so I can kind of use this one to glue, apply my glue on so that if I do accidentally get a bunch on there, I don't get it all over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down some of these leaves. And I want them to be flat. Now, again, I did these ahead of time. Okay. So these were done in advance where I stamped them. I did that 2-step stamping. I just didn't want to make you guys sit and watch me stamp all over again. Okay, so then I'm going to stick one there, and then I'm going to kind of do what I call a dry run. I'm going to kind of see how I've got these placed here. Let's see, I think that can kind of go there. And then I want to bring in another one of my single flowers. Now remember, all of these flowers and all of these leaves, there were die cuts that cut these out. But I did this ahead of time. All right, so I'm going to place this one there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this up. So I'm going to come in with my mini dimensionals. and just stick these kind of on the leaves. And then I'm just going to pop this up onto my card front. And again, this is giving me, this is what's cool about the dies and using dimensionals, because it allows you to add dimension to your card, because I'm putting some of it down flat and then I'm like raising up some of it. And I'm going to bring it closer in a little bit so you can see it. Okay. So then I kind of want to put another leaf or flower up here, but I'm just going to show you how I do my dry runs. So like, I know that's going to stick there. So I know I want this over here. So before I pop this up, I'm going to just lay it in place. This is just kind of a good technique to use doing these dry runs. And then because I know I want these solid, I can go ahead and stick my leaves where I want them. Okay, and then I think I'm going to try to push a flower down here and have a leaf coming up this way. So that's the only leaf that I'm going to put there for that one. And so now we're just going to, again, add dimensionals. And I probably should have, I don't ever think about this until I'm on live with you guys, that I should already have these dimensionals on the back of all these flowers, right? So you guys don't have to sit and watch me do all of that. Okay, I'm going to leave this part blank for right now because I want to fill in down here and see how we're doing down here. So now I'm going to bring in like this leaf, and I think I want to do like a single leaf out here with this one. If I can grab them. So are you guys liking this set? It's such a cool set. And then the last card is going to be completely different from these first two cards, so that you can really see the, you know, how many different ways you can use this set. Because again, I just really felt like it doesn't show well in the catalog. All right, so I'm gonna, let's see. I think I want to turn that way, and let's do a leaf right there. Okay, and then we're going to pop this one up. Well, I'm glad. So Shanine, you had a good Christmas. I'm glad to hear that. And so, yeah, I kind of, you know, guys, I kind of chilled over Christmas time. I just needed a break. And so, but I'm, you know, now I'm back and we're back live. And I know one of the ones I missed, I was sick. On one of the ones I was planning on coming on live, but that didn't work out. I kind of wanted to do a New Year's Eve party with you guys, but that was when I was getting sick. So that didn't work out. I have all these great plans, and then, you know, stuff happens. Okay, so we're going to bring in another one, and I think I'm going to bring in like 2 of the small single leaves, if I can get them out of here. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm glad to hear that, Janet, that yeah, it's one of those sets that you're not really impressed with looking at it. But that's where it's good to know, you know, and as you guys, you know, are looking at sets, it's good to try to figure out, hey, is that a 2-step stamp set? Because once you realize that, it makes you realize that it's going to be a lot more, there's a lot more you can do with it. But those are sometimes the hardest ones to see in the catalog, because I don't think they even say that they're 2-step stamps. And they kind of should, right? They should kind of tell us, hey, this is a 2-step stamp. So you might be able to do some really cool stuff with it, right? Alrighty. So let's get this one going. Whoops, missed it. And again, you know, as you guys can see, I love my Take Your Pick tool. I use it for, it has become an extension of my hand, literally. All right, so then we're gonna lay this one back in here. And then I think what I wanna do is I wanna kind of put one so that it kind of sits a little bit on this, and then it'll be hanging off down here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that on there. And you know, and the fun thing about this is when you know, these kind of sets, you can stamp some of these, like you can spend some time stamping, and then you can spend some time die cutting, and then you can have a full little like container or bucket or just full of different colors of leaves and flowers. And then when you're ready to sit down and design cards, you pretty much have everything ready to go. You know, so that's what I like about these types of things. Okay, so let me see what else I might want to do here. So I think up here, what I want to do is I actually kind of want to cut one of these apart, and I want to make it look like there's just a little bit of a flower popping up from behind the word. So I'm just going to cut that in half and see if I can, yeah, that'll work. And then and this one I'm going to put flat because I want it to fit behind the sentiment. So that one's going to kind of go there. And then I'm going to bring in, I think, just a single leaf, maybe, and kind of stick it so that it's coming up that, well, maybe not. Let me see. I think I want it angled that way. So do you see how the silicone mat helps? Because obviously, if I had this sitting on paper, this would already be adhered to paper, you know, as I'm sitting here designing this whole thing. And that's not what I want. I didn't want that. And I think what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to bring in one of those 2 sets of leaves. Let me see if I like this. If I can shove it up underneath there. Yep, I think I do like that. Now the problem is getting everything to fit. Whoops. Okay, so I want that kind of shoved up underneath there. And let's see, I think maybe bring out, where's the rest of those leaves that I cut? Maybe bring out the rest of this flower kind of over here in this corner. Let me see. Yeah, I think that would look cool. So I'm just going to cut that apart, make it look nice, and add some glue here. And then stick that right like that. And it can even kind of go up underneath that ribbon a little bit. Yeah, that looks cool. And I do have some pieces left, which is fine. You don't always have to use every single little piece. I know sometimes we feel like, oh, I worked that hard, I'm definitely going to use every single piece, right? Yeah, I know. I get you. I get you on that one. All right, so let me, now I'm going to pull this off and turn this over. And it does make it a little bit harder. Now, I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus, but when you have dimension like that, one of the best things you can use is liquid glue, right? So you could come in with liquid glue, and then you don't have to worry about pushing any of those down. All right, and then we're just going to put this. So do you guys see how I stepped this up? It's pretty much the same layout as when I stamped it, but this time I used the dies for both the flowers and the leaf. Even though I did stamp, that's why we call it stepping up, because you're doing a little bit extra on this card. Now for the inside, it's going to be pretty much kind of like the just stamping. We're just stamping. So I'm just going to bring in my rich razzleberry, and I'm just going to put like one little flower down here in this corner. And then we're going to bring in the detailed with the Blackberry Bliss. Oh, I'm so glad you like the colors. I wanted to do like some purples and, you know, but then I also wanted to use, kind of show you the difference between the subtles, the brights, because I'm using all of them. These are Regals that I'm using right now. Both the greens and the Rich Razzleberry and Blackberry Bliss, Old Olive, Mossy Meadow are all our Regals collection. And then I used a combination of subtles for the colors on the first flower, and then the leaves were our in colors on the first card. So, okay, so then I'm going to do some little leaves here. And again, I'm going to bring in Mossy Meadow and Old Olive for that. Okay, so I think I'll just put a leaf here. Put one up here. And then maybe do a single one over here. You know, and sometimes it's just fun to sit and stamp and use some different things and see how you like them. You know, there's times where I will sit down and I'll pull out a whole 8.5 by 11 cardstock, whether it's Whisper White or Very Vanilla, and I will just start stamping different color combinations to see if I like them. And some I like and some I don't like. So that's just kind of a fun thing to, you know, maybe sometime you're sitting and you can't really think of a card to design, or you're just not in the mood to make a card. So sit and do some stamping and play with the colors that you have, so that you start learning like the color combinations that you really, really like. Sorry, I still needed that mossy. See what happens when I start talking? I lose track of what I'm doing. Okay, so this, I'm going to just stamp that in the middle of that. And then for this one, I'm actually bringing in, I wanted to do a happy birthday card. And so I am actually bringing in, this is in the new catalog too, but it's called Framed Florets. I got to do a pre-order in this, and we made a beautiful Christmas card in my Christmas card class with this set. And so, but it has birthday sentiments. And so I'm going to come in and I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to use that as my sentiment, because the front says for you. And we're going to do wishes for a beautiful birthday. And hopefully it is somewhat straight. All right, so let me clean all these stamps, and then we'll get this card put together. And then we're going to be on to card 3, which should go fairly fast, even though it's going to be a more detailed card. But because I prepped more of it, but we're going to be bringing in some designer series paper for that one. Yeah, and we'll see how that one turns out. But let me get this one finished. And again, I didn't put any embellishments on here, but absolutely you could add pearls. You know, because that's what we mean by stepping up. So from the first card I stamped, this one I stamped and did die cutting. And then if I wanted to step it up a little bit more, I could add embellishments. That's what stepping it up means, is just adding a little bit more bling or a little bit more dimension. You know, that's exactly what it's talking about. When you hear those of us that make cards and we talk about stepping them up, you know, you might come to a card class where we're showing you a base card, a pretty simple card, and then you just take it home and you just add dimension to it. You add embellishments, you add ribbon. Yeah. And so I want to bring the first card back in, but let me show you this one close up. Okay, so for you, and can you see how, you know, because I popped some of those up, it gave it a lot of dimension. And then the inside, wishes for a beautiful birthday. But I want to just bring in that first card and show you, guys, it's pretty much the same layout, right? It's pretty much the same layout. I added ribbon, I used die cuts, and then I popped, you know. So do you see how you can take a simple card and you can step it up by just changing the colors, using die cuts, using the die cuts that come with the set. So I hope that shows you guys what we're talking about when we're talking about stepping it up, okay? So my last card is going to be completely different from the first two, so get ready. Okay, so for the last card, I wanted to bring in some of that designer series paper. Whoopsies. from the Country Floral. Now, I'm going to be showing you the whole suite next week, but it is on page in the catalog. This one was on page 11, and then this is the stamp set that goes with the Country Floral suite. But the suite comes with both some gingham paper and then this really pretty 12 by 12 designer series paper. And so I am bringing in some of that designer series paper right there. Just one of the sheets. But I just wanted to show you where that was. So basically for this one, I'm using a balmy blue card base. Sorry, I was looking for something here. And I'm and in that suite, it comes with some real red ribbon, and I'm gonna again bring this in because I want to add that ribbon. And this ribbon, I don't want it to be like quite centered. I want it to be more towards the bottom than the top. And so I am going to just attach that ribbon there and bring it across. And so this suite is kind of interesting because the paper is more sweet sorbet, mint macaron, balmy blue, petal pink, and then the ribbons that come with this are crumb cake and real red. But you can see how it looks. It gives it like pops of color, which I don't know that I would have thought of doing it like that. But, you know, again, sometimes when Stampin' Up! Puts suites together for us, it helps us to go outside our color box and design something that maybe we normally wouldn't have designed, or put colors together that maybe we wouldn't have thought to put together. So, yeah. So, you know, some of us try to be real matchy-matchy, which is okay. And so we might have tried to use a balmy blue ribbon or a petal pink ribbon. But I wanted to use the ribbon that came with that suite, and it was real red. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Close my eyes and go for it. Okay. So there's that piece. And then what I did, woo. All right. So I'm going to show you this cool thing. So this stamp here, let me show you what I did. Sorry. So what I did was I inked this up with, if I can find the colors, here they are. I inked this one up in balmy blue, and then I inked it up in sweet sorbet. The exact same sentiment, right? So I inked it up, stamped it. I'm not going to worry about how perfect that is right now, because I'm just showing you what I did so that you guys can get some fun ideas if you decide that this set is for you. Oh, while I've got this out, I'm also going to ink this up. The For You, I am also going to ink up in balmy blue. And then I'm going to clean that off, and we're going to do the exact same thing in Sweet Sorbet. So I kind of just wanted to show you what I did to get this finished product that I'm going to show you in just a quick second. So does anybody have any questions on anything you've seen me do so far? I love all the comments. I love that you're loving this. Yeah. I think I'm going to flip that so that it fits a little bit better maybe. All right, and then I need a For You. And I really only need the U, so that's the word that I'm really worried about. Okay, so this is what I did to design this card. And then I brought in the die cuts for this one. And it was the bigger die cuts. Well, you already saw me use the For You. But I want to just kind of show you the die cuts so that you understand how this worked. Sorry, I'm trying to get some stuff out of the way here. Okay, so I brought in, so if these are my die cuts, I didn't use the big one. I brought in like this one. So this one cut out the So Much Love, And then the for you, right, is going to cut out the for you. All right. So I just, what I call the center section, or this, you know, this is, I consider the big one layer 1, this is layer 2, and then this would be layer 3. So that's how I refer to these dies. So I cut all of those out, and then I ended up with all of these separate words. And hopefully I did not just lose one of my words, which I think I just did. Oh, great. Oh, I hate it when that happens. I may have to die cut one of these because I literally just lost one of the words. Oh, there it is. Okay. So then, so we have the for you and then the love you so much, but you can see how they're different colors now because I cut them out that way. But what's neat about this is that the stamp set, you pretty much have to either just, you know, you could color just the so and stamp that. But I didn't want to say so much love, right? I wanted to say love you so much. Isn't that cool? So by cutting it out, I got to say what I want. Ding, 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 right? I love it. Okay. So then what I did was I cut this out of the designer series paper, and I used our stylish shape dies for this. And then I used the little, I did both it was the largest stitch circle die and the one right underneath it, which I number, this is my number 6, my number 5. Alrighty. And so then I'm just going to lay this on here. Okay, I'm going to bring my silicone mat back in because I need to build some stuff on this. All right, so I'm going to lay that down. And then I want to go ahead and set the you sew first. So we're going to bring in our liquid glue. And I'm going to try to get this centered. But I also want it to kind of hang off a little bit. I didn't want this to fit perfectly inside, per se, the circle. Okay, and then sew. That's why I think these dies are so cool, because they do cut these words apart so you can make it say what you want. And then you can change up the colors like I did. And then I'm just going to put this here, and then this part that is going to be sticking up on the top, I'm actually going to put a little dimensional behind that, because I am going to be popping this whole thing up. And then we're going to do the same thing with the much. And it's going to hang off this bottom edge down here. I think I kind of went that. Let's do it like that. Okay. I'm not getting that exactly perfectly aligned, but it's kind of, you know, it doesn't really need to be. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this, and now I'm going to bring in dimensionals, and I'm going to be using the big dimensionals this time, just because they cover more space. If I was using mini dimensionals right now, people ask me that all the time, like, when do you use mini dimensionals? When do you use big dimensionals? A lot of times it's because if I'm using smaller pieces, you want the mini dimensionals, but like here I have a lot of space to cover, and I would have to be using like 10 mini dimensionals. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut me some little, right between these as just little strips, and that's all I need to kind of fill in the words or put on the words that are kind of hanging underneath. So I'm going to, that's what we use every part of our dimensional sheets, even the ones that aren't pre-cut out for us. We cut them, we cut the size we need. All right, so I was able to put those on those corners, and now I can bring that card base back in here, and let's pull off this top paper on all of these dimensionals. Okay. All right. And then again, this is going to go pretty much over this circle. I really like the little bicycles on this one. It's so cute. Okay. And then what I decided to do, just to kind of jazz it up a little bit, was I wanted to bring in some of this red ribbon. And I'm just going to cut little pieces of it. And I'm going to actually kind of build it together with mini glue dots. And I'll show you how I do that. So I'm just going to take a mini glue dot. I got to be careful. The other day I was making a card and I went to use my take your pick tool and flip one of those mini glue dots like you were just watching me do. And it disappeared. And I literally just found it a couple minutes ago stuck to some paper because I didn't know where it went. I was like, oh my gosh, where did it go? Okay, so I made a little loop. Oh wait, I don't like it that way. Well, too late. Oh well, that'll work. Yep, that'll work. Okay. And then I'm going to take another glue dot and stick it to the bottom right here. And then I'm just going to kind of slide it underneath there so that it sticks up like that. And then I want to do another one. So I think I'm going to do like 3 of these. And then I'm going to show you another card that I did with the opposite of these words. And what I did was I used scraps of paper on the next one. And so it looks the same, but it looks a little bit different. Just because I didn't use a full piece of designer series paper. Basically, I just kind of put some pieces together. I used different designs from that designer series paper. But it's the same basic layout. So I'm just trying to show you guys how you can take these layouts and just change them up just a little bit. And it makes it look completely different. So we're going to add that one right there. And then I think I want to add one right here. So let me just do that one more time. And then we're going to bring in some of the embellishments that go with that suite. Because they're really pretty. Really, really pretty. And don't forget, next week I'm going to be showing you that suite. So we're going to be using a lot more of that designer series paper. But I'm still going to show you simple stamping. I'm going to do the whole, you know, simple stamping, casual, or stepped up, and then avid. And you guys can kind of decide tonight, like, which ones you feel were the more avid ones. I think we tend to feel like, you know, all of the ones that we use die cuts to be avid, just because it, you know, does take a little bit more time to put those together. All right, so I'm going to just kind of stick this one underneath here. Okay, and then we've got these really cool, look at these, they're so pretty. These are the pearl adhesive back sequence, super pretty. They come with that, the suite that I'm going to be showing you next week. And so I'm going to use these little, the balmy blue ones. And I am just going to take, and let's see, I'll stick the bigger one down there, and then I'm going to grab 2 of these. Whoops. No, I'm not, because I left them inside. I pulled those all out. But look how pretty these are. They're like a gold. Isn't that pretty? I love that color. I really like that one. All right, and then put one there, and then put one there. So I told you guys this one was going to be completely different than the first one. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is on the inside of this card. Again, if I haven't misplaced everything. All I did for the inside was I took some of the designer series paper. But what I wanted to show you, a really cool technique. I used to do this all the time. I mean, all the time. Because you guys hear me always say I like to mat things. So matting is when we leave that little edge so that you can see it. Well, a way to make your paper look like that without doing that is to bring in a sponge dauber and some balmy blue ink. If I can find the balmy blue. And then all you need to do is you take this dauber and you just barely touch these edges. And oh, okay, so I'm sorry, I'm going to show you before. So that's what it would look like down there before we call this chalking the edges. So now I'm just going to chalk around this edge. And when I do scrapbooking, I almost always chalk. And maybe it's because I try not to get as many dimensions and layers in my scrapbooking because I want my scrapbook to be able to close. And so this is just a really good way of making it look like you've matted it with something and you haven't. All right. So can you guys see the difference? When you put that edging on there. So now I'm just going to add this to the bottom. Okay, and I think for this one, what do I have out? I have Happy Anniversary, so that's what we're using. So again, I think I'm going to come in with the Sweet Sorbet though, just to give it a different look on the outside. Let me line it up. Oh, I don't think I got that straight. Oh, I did. Surprise, surprise. And this is itty bitty writing. Itty bitty writing. But it's pretty cool. It's a real solid. So this would be a really, these stamps would be really good to do like the dry emboss heat. And like if I were to put, did that on white on a black or even white on red, that would have looked super cool. All right, so let me get the inside, and then I'm going to show you my other version where I wanted to use more than just one sheet of paper. But I warned you guys this one was going to be way different than the first two. But it just goes to show you how you can take these sets and use it for all sorts of things. Okay, so there's that one. So super cute, but so let me show you this one because I kind of like this other one better. What do you think? So this was just using 4 of the different designs. And then see how the love and the much is in the red on or the Sweet Sorbet on this one. And then the You So is in the balmy blue. And that was because when I cut this piece out, I ended up with all of these pieces. So take a vote. Which do you guys like better? Do you like the one sheet one or do you like the one where I put all 4? I want to see which one everybody prefers. No one's saying anything. So Janet, you like this one the best? Yeah, I do too, but I just wanted to show you how, you could just use one sheet of paper or you can step it up, right? So this is stepped up from this because this is using one sheet of paper and this is bringing in multicolored, right? So you guys can see how just by changing the paper that you use, it's the exact same design. I was a little lazy on this one. I just wanted to use one 4x5, or I think this is 4 1/8. So I just wanted it to be easy. This one takes a little bit more time because you got to figure out how to cut all the pieces, but still fun. And this is a really good one, really good layout to use scrap paper on, right? All right, so let's bring in all of the cards that we did tonight with this set, just so that you can see them all. So this was my simple stamping. This was using the dies to step it up. And then I did this one with just a simple sheet of paper, and then this one would be stepping that one up. Ta-da! What do you think? So hopefully I helped you guys see that this set has way more to offer. This bundle has way more to offer than it looks in the catalog. So let me bring that back in so you can remember what it is I used. So it's the Love for You bundle, and it comes with the stamp set and the dies. This was just stamping. This was stamping and dies. This was bringing in designer series paper, and then this was even taking it one step farther. Right? Yay! All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Just a heads up, I know I've been a little late getting word out, but for those of you that are in my birthday card club, that I am having that class this Thursday at 10 a.m. And then I'll have another one at 5:30 doing the same cards. And then also Saturday at 10 o'clock. So if you want to come and you haven't signed up, and we're doing, remember the birthday club is all birthday cards, right? We are focusing on birthday cards. Then next week, not this week, the following week on Thursday is my regular class at 10 a.m. On Thursday at 10 a.m. On Thursday night at 5:30, again, doing the same cards Thursday morning as Thursday night, and doing the same cards that Saturday as well. So I spread it out that way because I have so many of you that some of you can only come on Thursday morning, some can only come Thursday nights, and some can only come Saturday. So this week is birthday cards only, and you don't have to have purchased the birthday kit. Stampin' Up had a birthday card kit that was by the way, I gave that to my mom for Christmas. She loved it. Absolutely loved it. But anyway, there is a kit. I believe it is available again. So if you do want to get it, it's a great kit to have because it helps you organize all the birthdays for the whole year. But all of these, I decided to do a birthday card club class, so that we could focus just on birthday cards for that class. And then again, not this week, but next week is my regular class. And then don't forget, I'm having a special event the next Thursday. I believe that's the 19th. And that is my 14 Days of Love. And what that is we are going to be making 3D projects that you can put candy in, socks in, love notes in, whatever you want. But it's 14 days. And so you can either do what I'm going to do with it. And starting on February 1st, I'm going to be leaving one of these little gifts on my husband's pillow for him, so that he gets a gift for the 14 days leading up to Valentine's. Or you can do what my daughter wants to do, and she works in a dental office, and she wants to make the 14 gifts and hand them out at work to different people at work. So you can either do the whole 14 Days of Love, or you can do a gift for a variety of people. So anyway, that, if you want more information on that, again, just reach out to me. I'll get you the information on that, but it's going to be tons of fun because it's not a card. It's not cards. We're making boxes and bags and all sorts of really fun things to put gifts in to give out to people during the Valentine's season. So anyway, guys, as usual, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Again, this was the Love for You bundle. It is on page 11, and you can either buy it as a bundle, or you can buy just the stamp set, or you can buy just the die set. So, and then I'm going to put this up one more time, just so you know the January hostess code for those of you that are placing orders with me. And you can order through me at juliebrown.stampinup.net. Don't forget, Celebration is live starting January 5th. And you will be able to get, for every $50 that you spend, you will get something free from the Celebration catalog. Again, if you do not have a demonstrator and you would like one of the mini catalogs, reach out to me and I will get one sent and mailed out to you. As usual, thank you. I appreciate your guys' time. I know time is precious, and it really makes me feel special when all of you guys get on here and take that time out for me. So hopefully I taught you guys something. I showed you something fun, and I will be back next week to kind of show you the other half of this whole set, because this set marries really good with that that suite that's on the pages right before it. So I'll be showing that suite off next week. So join me next Tuesday for that. Anyway, again, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Guys, I am so close to having 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think I need like 20 more subscribers. So please share with your friends, tell them to subscribe. And hopefully I can teach everybody something and help everybody enjoy card making. So everybody, thank you so much. And I will see you, some of you this week at card class and the rest of you next Tuesday. Talk to you soon. Bye.